First order of business is public comments. We have any public comments? You guys know, no public comments tonight. The third agenda item is organizational update, which Dr. Bailey will address the board.
So first, thank you guys for all willing to come, but I wanted to share this update in person because it's a pretty significant update. Yes, I could have put it in my weekly update, but I do appreciate you taking the time to be here because I think it's better done in person. As you know, we presented a budget that still has a significant intentional operating deficit for this fiscal year. But looking to next year, we have to make budget interventions where the budget is at. We don't have a choice, right? So basically, our plan has always been the attrition model. When we have open positions, we look at our talent, we make decisions on where I can place people if I do have to reduce positions. Ultimately, over 80% of our budget is people, and so and then 10% are fixed costs like heating, cooling. So really, you're really limited, and these are really difficult decisions that we're faced with. But my goal in making these changes is to retain talent that we have within the district, making sure that they have a place to stay as a part of our team. So as you know, Jim Scrivo is retiring, so that leaves an administrative position open at Scotch Elementary School. So what the plan is to do is, my plan is to move Morrison Borders from Oakland Early College to Scotch Elementary School.
As principal.
As principal, that's correct. Okay, and so that's an administrative transfer, which per their contract, I have the ability to do.
Was he a principal before?
Yes, he was the principal of Orchard Lake Middle School, as well as various administrative positions. He's been in the district a very long time.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's move number one. The second move would be moving Sonia James to the position of Oakland Early College head of school, as well as over the Laker Opportunity Center in adult ed. This would allow us then to reduce a central office position, and in year one, that savings is about $230,000. It will be more in year two, because what I hope to do is work out with the team management union is to be able to hold her pay for a year so that there's not financial difficulty. But the way I computed the savings is Jim Scrivo's total compensation, because that would be the position I'm not filling in that particular year. It will be a little bit more in year two as well, so it will be close to $250,000 saving for the one position. Obviously, not an easy decision, a really difficult decision to make. And in all of central office's contract, even in my contract, you can change my placement. And there's provisions for that. And there's the same thing in provisions for central office administrators that says the employee during the term is subject to transfer or reassignment by the district at the district's discretion upon written notice. So it speaks to this already in the contract that was approved, so it allows me to make those positions. Our commitment to educational equity is still there. It's going to live in the work that all of us do collectively as a school district. But as we get into March, April, May, when we start to make more adjustments, we're going to have to deal with other positions as well. The timing reason why I brought you today is Scotch has been asking every single day, what are you doing with the position?
What do you mean, Scott?
The staff, like why haven't you posted it? Because generally you would post it, and families. And so with that transition, we want to maximize the time, because this would be effective July 1st. We want to maximize the transition time so that Morrison can confer with the Scotch staff as well as Jim Scrivo, and so that Sonia can converse with Morrison and the OEC staff, so that there's prep work before a July 1 change. So that's the reason why, I'm bringing you here. I'll follow up with board members who don't via, per an email to the board that explains kind of the same thing. But I did not want to do this just in a weekly update. This is a significant change, an organizational change, but ultimately we're in a financial position that's going to require us to make some changes. What I will say is this move is completely financial. They're great employees, they do great work in their respected roles, but we in order to reduce that deficit, we have to make significant and difficult decisions. So my goal, though, like I said, they're two people that I value, I respect, they do good work. My goal is that every time there's an open position, that's when we evaluate and we make decisions on keep retaining that talent within the district so that everyone still has a place and is able to continue on with the work that we do. Yeah.
How do you plan to share this with staff and like the families of, I guess, Scottsville?
I mean, it's going to be pretty quick because it's kind of, I have to share it with the employees who are impacted first, right,
Yeah.
which I did today.
Okay.
I want to share it with the board, right? Now it's public, we're in a public board meeting, so communication will go out to staff this evening, and then tomorrow evening it would go out to families.
Yeah.
It has to be relatively quick because that's it, it's public knowledge at this point.
So, I know that just from being a part of some of the committees that I'm on, that education equity is a focus across like the curriculum council and teaching and learning. What will be, how do you see that in the future?
I still see that coming out of teaching and learning, but again, it's really a part of everything that all of us do in terms of educational equity. It will be a part of our curriculum review. It will be a part of our, it will be a part of the way that we assess curricular materials, right, using equity rubrics. Those things are in place. Those are in place. So that work will still live on. It's just, and my hope is that Sonia will still do some of those initiatives that are important to her and that we can still partner on. So that thing, it's just going to be kind of, a reallocation of the workload to some extent. But the work will continue in our partnerships, in that realm will continue. Like we do a lot of things that relate to, religious diversity programs, United We Walk. There's, again, but from a curricular standpoint, that's embedded in the way that they are implementing the strategic plan. So if you look at our belief statements and our strategic plan, that applies to all of us and all the work that we do. Again, do we value the position and want it? Yes. It's just we're at a point where we have to make. I'm going to be making a lot of.
Sounds like this is just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. Like I'm going to have to make building level adjustments as well. But my goal is things that do, and this I don't want to misspeak because everything we do touches students to a certain extent. But things that I know is important to the community and the staff and students. Again, of course, everything's important to us, but you can't reduce the deficit without making adjustments. It's really a difficult spot to be in, but this one, like I said, was time sensitive in the sense that we haven't posted the principal position, and at this point, heading into March into spring break, I'd have to speak to that.
Thank you for sharing that. Do you have I know you're doing the attrition, how many other retirees have submitted? Because I believe I understand that they have to submit and then that's their commitment. Do you know that number?
The exact number I don't know, but it's between 8 and 10.
So I think there's another cutoff.
There's another
one
cutoff.
in the spring,
Yeah,
but also they can retire at any point. They get a bonus, or like a financial incentive to tell early. So they can retire September 1st if they want. Like
Got it.
any day.
A lot of them do because of healthcare and stuff like
You played the game, I get it.
Yeah, you gotta do
There's a
it.
game. Yeah.
that. But the ones that are like at that retirement age,
Okay.
they're the ones that usually try to, because you get so much per year of service.
So for example, we know at the elementary there'll be a reduction of some staffing, but that will all be through attrition. We already secured enough retirements to reduce those without, I promise, without exponentially increasing class sizes. They'll still be,
They're very low this
they're
year.
very low, they're really low this year in some buildings, so.
Elementary.
Yeah, elementary,
general.
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, in
and for
general.
example, like we're completing the high school schedule. We see there's about 2 FTE that we'll be able to reduce. Again, that will be done through retirement. So there's a lot of, probably 80 to 90% of what we do, and hopefully by the end of the year, 100% of what we do won't impact staff. Like, we will be able to retain them, but it's kind of, it's one, you know, we have to, it's a puzzle to some extent, but our goal is to have a place for everybody.
I can appreciate, and I'm sure we all can appreciate fiscal responsibility, so.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we were funded in a way
I
that would
get it.
allow us to
I get
keep it. I don't see a path, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, the pendulum always swings.
Yeah.
I've been through times where we've had full teaching and learning staff down to 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
To, 5 or 6, things like that. The pendulum always swings with what the support systems that we can have in place, so. I think we're focusing on teaching and learning and student achievement and opportunities for kids. I think that even though they're tough decisions, you're gonna make the right ones.
Yes, and I've talked to the union, they're willing to obviously enter into a letter of agreement that would allow us to hold the pay, like they have no problem with that. Yeah.
What do you mean hold the pay?
So basically, we would retain her salary at the educational equity for
Talk
a year.
about someone
Yeah,
specific.
yeah.
Okay.
Into
I
that
didn't-
position. I'm sorry.
We had negotiated the 2-year contract with this unions last year, and I
Well,
want to make sure I did not misunderstand. You were talking about them not taking the second year increase
Yeah.
that was negotiated.
The contract always allows, due to budgetary constraints, in those situations, you can make adjustments. You could end the contract.
But also Sonia's a contracted employee.
Yeah.
Like she's a
She's got a single
she's a
contract.
single contract.
No, I have no issue with that.
Yeah. At the end,
I want to make sure I understood.
yes,
that's all.
yeah. We don't want any financial hardship for the employees, but like I said, there's still a significant savings in year 1 of about, it's really closer to 240, but I'm conservatively saying 230. And then in year 2, it will go up to a minimum of 250.
I can be doom and gloom here for a second.
Yeah.
So, there's a long-term trend where, we're losing students, like most school districts are. There's discussions already going on in Lansing about playing around with Proposal A and doing away with this tax and that tax, many of which affect the school aid fund. And there's, by law now, greater flexibility and funding available for school, voucher programs and, not schools of choice. Charter schools, thank you. So all of that could be potentially negatively impacting our funding, right? And I know that somewhere down the road, because of the decreasing student population, we probably have to close another school somewhere down the road. My doom and gloom part here is, beyond just that, is that those plans for closing another school may have to be accelerated if things really go bad with the whole Proposal A thing in particular. And if, for whatever reason, a lot of kids decide to go to charter schools. I don't really anticipate that being a big problem, the charter school thing necessarily, but it really makes me nervous, this whole Proposal A thing.
I don't think anything will happen that quickly with that, because it took them so long to do Proposal A. It was years and years, but yes, it's something we have to watch for
And it's
sure.
going to depend on who the governor is too, as to whether anything actually becomes law.
What's interesting with a lot of this is, so the school aid fund has more money than it's ever had, and there's less kids in public schools. Yet,
Figure that.
that money, because there's such an excess in the fund, that's why they keep putting it to meals, universal meals, pre-K, you know, for the first 2 years of community college, for 2 years free, and then they're giving another 500 million for scholarships for universities, to give for scholarships. But they're doing this because there's less kids in public schools, and instead of increasing the cost
That's
per
correct.
student,
Yeah.
They could give more.
because of the overhead costs,
For
they keep
Just
taking
giving
out. So we always have to watch that, but that seems to be the MO since Snyder did it. Actually, was Snyder the first one, or what's her name before that? Granholm, it may have started with Granholm, but every governor has done it.
So just to speak to that a little, I really think we're getting to the point where we're gonna see a plateau very shortly in our enrollment. I think what we've done over the past few years is we haven't panicked, right? We did see significant loss in students, but we didn't panic. Each year, through attrition, we've reduced staffing, and then,
And they've done a great job of
Yeah.
managing it.
so I think, I think we're always, that's why you have, a decent healthy fund balance. There could be those days that are difficult, but, I think if we have a steady hand, calm, we look at the situation, we reassess when we need to, then we'll be able to make those adjustments. Just like that's the reason for kind of the strategic visioning committee to come back. Because, okay, we're at a point now significantly where we've done the 2 schools, the CTE space. We're gonna take a pause. We're gonna look at everything. We're gonna look at all the same sorts of data that we saw, building condition. And we're gonna say, okay, do we continue on with the same plan, or do we make halftime adjustments? And I think if we continuously do that, we'll catch the changing nature of the political landscape and just the unpredictability that sometimes comes with running a school district. So I think, we'll be fine. I think we've handled those situations as they, arose. We've prepped for them, but this year, there's going to, like I said, there's just things that we're going to have to do so that we're not in a difficult position later on down the road.
Is this our last year with that big bubble 12th grade?
I think so.
I think so,
yeah,
too.
I think so.
Which is oftentimes why like our student loss looks so big, because our senior class is so much larger than our kindergartners. And I don't remember why did it, just, for whatever reason that happened.
Well, that, and we've
Cut
generally.
back on
cut back
school
on
choice.
school choice.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to misspeak.
Plus,
So,
it must get Stephen pull from.
yeah,
So that'll help
yeah.
Yes.
plateau the
Yeah.
population as you said. Okay, thank you.
I mean, our spring count came in this year, again, Sylvia told me not to mention this, but
Because it's not official.
it's not official, but it's pretty close to fall, which is good, because usually you see a dip. Yeah, so, don't.
No, I love her.
It's true,
All right. Well, I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you
think
guys
that
coming,
was-
I know it's another evening, we have
And that's
another.
unfortunate, but these are the things that are, we have to do that for the sake of the districts. And,
We as the board can give up our annual pay.
Speak for yourself.
You have to give up your annual pay and don't bring snacks, I guess, 'cause it's like you guys paid to come.
there you go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So it is that 6:18? I see a reflection.
Yeah.
Yes, 6:18. And we are adjourned.
9:00.
All right, thank you.